Welcome to Unity of Wilmington, coming to you from Wilmington, North Carolina. My name is Reverend Mindy Tucker, and I'm honored to welcome as our speaker today, Reverend Nickie Golden, and we both serve as co-ministers here in this spiritual community that reminds us of a great truth that there's only one presence and one power active in the universe and in our lives. It is a presence and a power that invites us to expand our consciousness and inspires personal transformation. So honored that you are choosing to be a part of that experience in this moment. Let's begin our time together with prayer. I'll keep my eyes open, but I invite you to engage in this time of prayer in the way that you are most accustomed to or comfortable or want to experience. Lifting your heart to the light. Lifting your mind to divine wisdom. Lifting every cell in your body to a reminder of its wholeness. That within each cell we have a spiritual pattern for perfection. And when we return to truth, when we come into and choose to go deeper within, we become more resilient. We have a greater capacity to respond with love. For this capacity and for divine love, divine wisdom, divine faith, and great assurance of regardless of the outer experience, that we are a rock of peace. And so it is. Amen.
I run a race, just trying to get ahead. Don't think about where I am now, just where I want to be instead. I'm losing so much precious time, but will I be satisfied in the end? Oh, in the end. Trying to fight for what's not mine. I don't want to lose myself in someone else's dream. I know I was made for a purpose, to reach past the surface, to live life fearlessly. I want nothing less than to be who I'm meant to be. Everyone is on their way, but I am standing still, comparing my behind the scenes against their highlight reel. I'm burning so much energy, won't let it keep distracting me anymore. I don't want to spend my life trying to fight for what's not mine. I don't want to lose myself in someone else's dream. I know I was made for a purpose, to reach past the surface, to live It's who I'm meant to be. I don't want to spend my life trying to fight for what's not mine. I don't want to lose myself in someone else's dream. I know I was made for a purpose, to reach past the surface, to live life fearlessly. I want nothing less. I want nothing less. I want nothing less than to be who I'm meant to be.
Who are you meant to be? Do you ever wonder? Do you ever feel pulled between here and there? We think about here and there sometimes as an either or, but there's a lot of space between here and there. It's a continuum. It's kind of like either and or. There's a whole lot of space. So how do we find that place of being centered? How do we find that place of peace between here and there? One of the easiest ways is to figure out, where do we want to step in? Where do we want to step into life? How do we want to show up is another way of saying that. Ask yourself for a moment, how do I want to show up? It's a strange year, 2020. And we have lots of opportunities to show up in all kinds of ways. We can show up in fear. We can show up in frustration. We can also show up in joy, in love. We can show up empowered by knowing who we are, knowing our divine nature. How do we want to show up? Have you ever felt torn between two ideas? Somebody thinks this and you think that. And at times, this and that don't seem to be reconcilable. And yet, within any chaos is always the cosmos. That one presence and one power that we talk about each week. Within chaos, there is always the cosmos. There is always love. My question is, how do I show up as love? That's one of my favorite questions for me. No matter what's going on around me, how do I show up as love? I cannot control what anybody else does. I cannot control the environment. I cannot control the world around me. But what I have control over is how I respond to what's going on in my life, in my environment, and in the world around me. That's where I have choice. Charles Fillmore talks about how we have the freedom of choice, that there is spiritual law at work in every moment, and yet we have the free will to make a choice. I don't know what choice you will make. I know what choice I like to teach. And if I'm teaching it, it probably means I'm in the midst of learning it. Because that's the best way to learn anything, is to begin to share it, to begin to live it, to begin to embody it in such a way that it becomes my divine nature. Because it already is. I'm just revealing it. I'm taking away anything that's unlike that divine nature and revealing what is in this moment. And what is in this moment is my level of consciousness. And hopefully my level of consciousness next week will be broader and bigger and wider than my level of consciousness today. It's my hope for everyone. How do we learn to do this? Brian Tracy says, we have to move out of our comfort zone. We can only grow if we're willing to feel awkward and uncomfortable when we try something new. And something new often feels very awkward and very uncomfortable. Think about a couple that you might have known in the past that broke up. Did you ever feel that tug of war between them and they? And think, oh my gosh, I love them both. But there's this expectation from our culture that we will choose this or that, them or they. Who will I choose? I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. What we sometimes forget is that unity is not weakness. The ability to be united in love takes great strength. The ability to unite in love, to step into a circle of love that is bigger than we had before. Is it awkward at times? Yes, because it encourages us to get out of our own way, to open up that circle, to engage in some new behaviors, to declare, I'm not going to choose between this and that. I'm going to find a way in my life to open up my circle and to include it all. Have you ever felt like you were left out of something? Have you ever felt separated from people, from places, from activities, from life in general? There are those times. There's an American poet. He was once poet laureate in Oregon. His name is Edwin Markham. This is a poem he wrote. He drew a circle that shut me out, heretic rebel and a thing to flout. But love and I had the wit to win. We drew a circle that took him in. We drew a circle that took him in. We all have the ability, the capacity to draw a circle of love, a circle of life, a circle of joy that takes in anything that we experience. What most of us don't have is the practice of doing that. It feels awkward and uncomfortable at first. It might feel awkward and uncomfortable to say to that couple, I love you both and I refuse to choose. When I'm with you, I'm not going to talk about that person. When I'm with that person, I'm not going to talk about you. You and I can talk about the things that we do together and the things in your life. That's often uncomfortable because when somebody says, hey, what's going on with, do you know? There's that draw of I want to be approved. I want to be accepted. So I don't want to tell you, but I don't want you to disapprove of me. I don't want to tell you, but I don't want you to stop liking me. It happens in a lot of areas of our life. We're afraid of disapproval or of losing someone else's approval. That's a continuum. But even in that continuum of approval and disapproval, and when those concerns, those fears or worries or anxieties, whatever you're going to call them, whatever I'm going to call them, when they emerge, we can draw a circle that takes it in. Oh, I'm scared you won't like me if I tell you the truth about who I am. I've got to draw a circle that's big enough to include that you may or may not like me. When I stand in my truth, when I live my principles, when I stand for my own integrity, which might be different than yours, I have to be willing to draw a circle big enough to take you in. Now, you may like me, you may not like me, but love, the frequency of love, does not have anything to do with liking. Love, that frequency of love is that energy that comes from our hearts. The heart has a bigger capacity than our brains do. Our heart has a brain all its own that is bigger than the brain in our head. And so when we deny it, when we take our circle of love and make it very small, then what happens is our heart begins to hurt. It begins to hurt because that cosmos that is in the midst of that chaos we're trying to shrink it. But the beautiful thing is the infinite presence of God, the infinite presence of the divine, the infiniteness of the universe cannot, no matter what we do, cannot be contained, cannot be shrunk, cannot be made small. And oftentimes our pain is because we are attempting to make the cosmos smaller than it is. It's kind of like fitting in a shoe that's 2 or 3 sizes too small for you, and you're trying to get your foot in it, and then you finally maybe do, and you try to walk, and it hurts like crazy. And we could come up with a lot of metaphors, but every single time we try to be less than who we are, love, the frequency of love, we're going to experience pain. And we're going to experience chaos. And the moment we are in chaos, we can know that cosmos is present, love is present, but we have narrowed our consciousness to such a degree that we are unaware of its presence. So what do? We learn, and it's a practice. We learn how to open our awareness to greater love. We learn how to open our awareness to new ideas. I don't have to like those new ideas, but I can stand in integrity saying, I understand that that's your thinking, and I love you with all of your thinking. I don't have to experience bad behavior from it. I can walk away because love doesn't actually have to be present to be love. In physical form, it does not have to be present. If somebody is mistreating me, if somebody is calling me names, if somebody is acting in violence, whether it's emotional or physical violence toward me, I do not have to put up with it. I can love myself enough to walk away, and I can still love that individual. I don't have to engage with them again. I don't have to go to lunch with them. And I can see the divine in them when I practice it. And sometimes it takes a lot of practicing and a lot of forgiveness. And that's okay. It takes as much as it takes. It takes as much of it as it takes. If we think about Jesus and the day that he was called upon to feed the 5,000, there were loaves and there were fishes. Well, if we think about what bread means metaphysically, bread is the substance of the divine. Bread is a staple. It's foundational to many people's meals. So Jesus stood on the foundation of spiritual principle. And he took the loaves and he took the fishes, which are thoughts. And Jesus looked upward. The upward looking was not to a God in the heavens. The upward looking was to model transcendent thinking, to model a higher frequency of thinking. So if we take the foundation of our lives, which we are born into our divine nature, it has always been. When we take the fish and we break it, when we take the fish and we offer it up, we are actually raising our thoughts upward. And when we raise our thoughts upward, we are raising our frequency, our emotional frequency. We are bringing forth that circle of love. We're drawing everything into it that is before us. We have that capacity because we have an infinite capacity to love. But we have not always been modeled that infinite capacity to love, and we have not always been taught how to go about doing it. One of the ways that Catherine Ponder talks about is by blessing something. I bless you with love in all that you are and all that I am and all of the relationship that is between us. I bless you with love. Love is a high frequency. It's the harmonizer. So when I'm willing to bless anything that I struggle with, I'm going to raise the frequency of it, just as Jesus did when he broke the fish. He took the staple, the foundation of substance that was already present, and he took his thoughts even higher. He showed us how to do that. He gave a blessing. And what happened? There was more bread and more fish than the crowd could contain. And that is the promise. Seek first the kingdom of God, which is within us. Seek first the kingdom of God. Seek love first. And if we forget, come back around to love. And if we forget again, come back around to love. But seek the love that's present in the chaos. Seek the cosmos that is present in the chaos. Sometimes the majority of that chaos is actually right here inside of me. So one of the easiest ways is to sit in meditation. It's not easy to stay there because when the chaos is within me, all I want to do is wiggle and fidget. I want to get up and I have to work to calm my mind that's going crazy. All those monkey mind statements, and I'm replaying the story in my head about something that's happening. That's not meditation, but that's the beginning point. When I can teach myself to stay even in the midst of that. There will become a moment, if I'm willing to stay until I reach that moment, that I find a little bit of gap in all of those thoughts. And then I've drawn the circle and made it big enough for even those thoughts to be surrounded by a circle of love. We can do this with anything. We can do it with health. Put health in the circle. Go on Google, find a picture of a circle of love, whatever is represented to you. And you can do it physically, just as I have health. And I can look for the cosmos within my health. I can look for the divine within my health. I can look for the love that's within my health. And even if what I find is only as big as a mustard seed, the Bible teaches us that's all the faith we need. I can bless the fact that I woke up this morning. I can bless the fact that I can, and you fill in your blank. I can bless the fact that I can open up and breathe. I can feel joy. I can feel aliveness. And maybe there's some things that are wrong with me. But in spite of and in the midst of, I can have the experience of it, circling them in love. And I put a reminder for myself. Maybe it's world events. There's a lot going on in 2020 right now. There's a lot of differences of opinion. There's a lot of not knowing what is actually scientifically true. I hear this from a lot of people. So I can put world events. I can even be more specific and put it in the circle of love. And I can bless it with love. Let's do that right now. I bless the events of the world with love. And take a breath and feel. I bless the events of the world with love. And when I'm driving down the street and I see somebody cut someone else off in traffic, I can bless that person. It happened to me yesterday. Somebody was behind me, and I wasn't going fast enough for them, although I was going the speed limit, and that's all I wanted to go. But I was not going fast enough for them. And when they got an opportunity, they peeled out and went around me. And I took a breath. I was grateful that they were no longer behind me, but I blessed them with love. And then I saw them do the same thing to the person who had been in front of me. They peeled out and went around them and came in front of them. And I blessed them with love, and I blessed the driver that was in front of me too. I thought, wow, there's an energy of chaos here. I'd like to bring the cosmos into it. And when I got to the next stoplight, and guess what? We were all there together. We were all there together. But I had drawn a circle of love that was big enough to fit us all. It's not my business what anybody else did. But I drew the circle of love. So as I drew that circle of love, I sat, because I was driving, in peace. It didn't matter what anybody else had done, but I could experience peace. I could enjoy the beautiful day. I could breathe and listen to the music that was playing on my radio and be quite happy in the midst of someone else's experience of chaos because they were in a hurry. I did not have to buy in to their hurry. We can do it in relationships that have difficulties. Is there somebody in your life that it was once smooth, but it's not so smooth now? You could put their name in the circle of love. Sometimes we make a circle of hearts and put people's name in it. It's a great way to bless somebody because we know that the frequency of love is a harmonizer. The frequency of love is the glue that holds the universe together in the unity philosophy. I want to be a part of that circle of love, that frequency of love. The thing that we often forget is to put ourselves in it. So in this moment, imagine your name up there on the screen and put yourself in the circle of love. Many people give so much to other people that at the end of the day, they're drained because they have forgotten to put themselves in the circle of love. Step into the circle of love. Bring your frequency to that of love, of joy, of harmony, of peace, and then step out. What a great way to make a decision that's difficult. What a great way to make a decision that can be fun because new opportunities may open up for you that you had not seen before. Because truly we see the world from the consciousness that we are. And that's not a bad thing. But the universe is always growing, so we always have an opportunity to be expanding our awareness until we expand into that infinite capacity of love, because that's what we have within us. So that we see something like the driver who's in a hurry. I felt scared, but I could bring love into the feeling of fear so that I wasn't judging. And then when we got there, it was simply a thought, oh, we're all here together. But isn't that true? In our oneness, we are all here together. What I do to you, I'm also doing to me. Proverbs teaches, as a man thinks in his, or I shouldn't say man, his or her heart, but as people think in our hearts, that's what our consciousness is. So the moment I have an angry thought, my consciousness is angry. The moment I have a fearful thought, my consciousness is fearful. Now that doesn't mean judge ourselves and add another layer of consciousness that is in slow moving mode. But go, oh, I'm noticing I'm angry. I'm noticing I'm scared. You create a circle that's big enough to draw that in. A circle that's big enough to draw my fear in, my sadness in, my anger, is going to be a circle that's big enough to hold my joy, my delight in life. It's going to be big enough to hold my sense of peace and my centeredness. Is it easy? No. Practicing spiritual principle is not easy. And as we practice it, it becomes easier. It becomes easier. It can be way more fun because we are opening our circle of love to ourselves. And the moment we open it to ourselves, we naturally open it to each other. Step in. Step in before you step out in action. Step in before you step out in thought. Step into love and step out being the radiant light of the world that you are. And then, with practice, you can do it everywhere you go. Everywhere. Then you are embodying, you are truly living what Jesus modeled. You are taking that foundation of life, raising the frequency of it, and look at the gifts, the leftovers that are there for each of us. If you're interested in this, I have an affirmation. I am an expression of infinite love. I bless all persons in my life, including myself. I allow love to flow forth from me to all persons. When I feel separate or alone, I increase my circle of love to include all. I increase my circle of love to include all. And I'm part of all. And you are part of all. Let's take these thoughts into a time of meditation, centering ourselves in our breath. I'm going to keep my eyes open, but you're welcome to close them or keep them open. Whatever you choose is perfect for you. Breathing into that heart space, focusing our awareness on our heart. Focusing our awareness on our heart opens up that space, because what we give our attention to, which is awareness, we bring our energy to. So putting our energy in our hearts and allowing it to open up. Breathe in love for yourself first, the gifts that you have, the uniqueness of the divine that you are, the joy that you have in living, no matter whether it's that of a mustard seed or huge like the Grand Canyon. Bring that love, bring that joy, bring that peace forward first. Seek first the kingdom of God, the divine, the higher power within you, whatever you call it, whatever your favorite name for source energy is, seek that first. Stand in the circle of love before you step out. Before you step out to wherever you're going. And then bring that love with you. And notice what happens. Notice what happens in your own body. You feel your shoulders relaxing as you turn your love inward. Can you feel that knot in your belly? It begins to ease when you turn your love inward, when you include yourself in the circle of love, when you step into love. It might be different for you than what I have identified. Allow it to be different. Allow it to be your unique experience. No one else may even have that experience, but that doesn't change the validity and the value that occurs for you. Created an image of and the likeness of that, whatever name you have for that Creator. Breathing it into our heart so that we can step out equally as creators. Because that capacity is already within us to create the circle of love that's ever expanding. And will it come back sometimes? Yes. As we close our focus and try to contain something that's uncontainable. And will that be uncomfortable? Will that feel like chaos? At times. But we can remember to expand into the cosmos and wrap the chaos in love. Wrapping yourself in love. Standing in a consciousness, a foundation of love. Lifting our hearts and lifting our minds into that frequency of love. And stepping forth to all that we are called to do. To be all that we are called to be. And to live our fullest and most exciting life. And as you bring your attention back into this time and place, know that you are bringing with you the increased energy. We must change our energy in order to change our lives. Bring it back with you. Bring it back as a gift. Bring it back as a knowing. And bring it back as your beingness. And so it is.
Unity of Wilmington has a message that has the power to heal lives, to heal the world. We affirm that you have been moved, touched, and inspired by today's message and the message that we bring to you in so many different ways. And we ask in return that you support us in our capacity to continue to deliver this message. We are funded by you, funded by your love for the Unity message, for your celebration of transformation. And so we have a number of ways that you can financially support Unity of Wilmington in the continuance of the delivery of this powerful message of transformation. One is to go to our website, click on the donate button. It's in the upper right corner of the page there. Donate through Facebook or mail us a check at 717 Orchard Avenue, Wilmington, North Carolina, 28403, in great gratitude for the work that you and Unity of Wilmington continue to do in the world.
I messed up tonight. I lost another fight. I still mess up, but I'll just start again. I keep falling down. I keep on hitting the ground. I always get up now to see what's next. Birds don't just fly, they fall down and get up. Nobody learns without getting it wrong. I won't give up, no, I won't give in till I reach the end, and then I'll start again. No, I won't leave, I want to try everything. I want to try even though I could fail. I won't give up, no, I won't give in till I reach the end, and then I'll start again. No, I won't leave, I want to try everything. I want to try even though I could fail. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, 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 oh. Look how far you've come. You filled your heart with love, baby. You've done enough. Take a breath. Don't be yourself up. You don't need to run so fast. Sometimes we come last, but we did our best. I won't give up, no, I won't give in till I reach the end, and then I'll start again. No, I won't leave, I want to try everything. I want to try even though I could fail. I won't give up, no, I won't give in till I reach the end, and then I'll start again. No, I won't leave, I want to try everything. I want to try even though I could fail. I keep on making those new mistakes. I'll keep on making them every day. Those new mistakes. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, 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 oh. Try everything.
Yeah, try everything. Try putting yourself in that circle of love. Oh, and remember, if you forget, all you have to do is remember all over again. Unity has a publication called The Daily Word. Today's daily word is remember. I bless the people whose lives have touched mine. What a great remembrance. I bless the people whose lives have touched mine. Whether it's been an invitation to come back in the circle, a nudge, or a push, I'm grateful for them because in trying everything, I have learned to love deeper.
And if you're struggling with loving deeper, we have an opportunity for prayer for you. You can send me an email, Reverend Nickie Golden at gmail.com. You can call the office and leave a message. You can send a prayer request through the website. So there are several possibilities. If you have a hallelujah you want to share with us, do the same, because prayer does not have to be something that we're challenged by or struggling with. Prayer and thanksgiving go hand in hand and raise the vibration of the planet.
Yes, they do. We don't want to leave our time together without reminding you that you are a beloved expression of God.
You are here for a holy purpose.
You are right where you are by divine appointment. You're at the right place at the right time, right now.
And we draw a circle of love that includes you. I invite you to draw a circle of love that includes you in anything that is in your pathway. And then take that step that may feel uncomfortable, but draw a circle of love for your health, for world events, for difficult relationships, but most of all, for yourself.
I may or may not know you, but I love you.
We love you.
We love you. We love you.